So I stumbled across this on Kotaku in Action subreddit, and it kind of resonates with me because this is a lot of stuff that's been going on over the last, say, 10, 15 years. And you're starting to see a lot of it happen again in waves because people seem to think that validating your hobbies, either seeking validation via the mainstream or whatever, is going to improve your standing, whatever, or improve interest, whatever. I don't necessarily see it. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I remember that people seemed to look at playing video games for a large period of time to be a virgin behavior, or you're wasting your time, or you're being lazy, or you're not enjoying things, whatever. Even though I've spent a large number of time going outside and playing and like walking around. I used to walk everywhere. And even when I went to the arcade, the closest arcade that I had, especially when I was growing up in the 90s, the closest arcade was downtown, which means I had to walk about 15, 20 miles to go downtown to Waterside to go to Electric Circus and like play Mortal Kombat 3 arcade. So, to me personally, I got my exercise in. My legs were freaking muscular as hell because of all the walking I used to do growing up or whatever. I was a perfectly balanced individual regardless, but I mean, not everybody is like that, and it kind of feels like when your parents are dogging on you, when your friends are dogging on you, when everybody around you is dogging on you because all you talk about is video games, or you seem to only have interest in video games or whatever, that you feel like the only way that you'll be happy is if everyone else validates you, or everyone else actually loves this thing or whatever. So you build up this false idea that if I can get people to like video games, or if I can change video games in order to get more people to like them, then maybe people will actually like respect my hobbies or whatever. And it's kind of a wrong-headed way of approaching this, but we'll get into that in just a moment. So why do so many anime fans and nerds in general need their hobby validated by the mainstream? I keep seeing comments like this all over the internet. I like this, but I wish I could watch it with my parents. I like this, but these elements will keep it from becoming popular with the mainstream. I like this, but anime should take Western sensibilities into account if the industry wants to grow. That's a thing that we saw last weekend where people were trying to say that anime or more Japanese artists need to start drawing black people, which I thought was incredibly dumb. Because if that, let me go ahead and get that out there. Let me get it out of the way. Put it to you this way. If you want more black characters and things, the black community needs to step up, get their artists together, and put out those things themselves. Stop trying to ask other people to do things for you. Asking somebody else for something that you can do with your own two hands is lazy. And welfare offices uptown. So hop on the bus and get there and get what you need. Because I ain't going to do it for you. Ain't no charity cases up in here. This is what I'm saying. So it's as if these people cannot enjoy anything unless it is popular and approved by the masses. I don't want fan service removed so you can watch it with your parents. Just don't fucking watch those shows with them. I certainly never watched those R-rated teen comedies with my parents. Who cares if it doesn't go mainstream? Going mainstream isn't going to do anyone any huge favors. Look at what happened to comics. As soon as the huge superhero genre became popular with the masses, the quality of the comics themselves hit rock bottom. The movies have hit that point too. And fuck off with the Western sensibilities bullshit. Western animation exists and suits your taste. Stop trying to force anime to conform to Western standards. I just don't get it. Why do these people need validation of their society over their choice of entertainment? And why keep demanding the product change until I get validation? A lot of that seems to fall within one thing, and one thing in particular. Low self-esteem. They're embarrassed by the things that they watch because they think that people are looking down at them for enjoying these things or whatever. I watched sex comedies too as a kid. Like, I snuck off to go watch the Porky's trilogy, like while my parents were doing other things. And surprisingly enough, I actually got away with watching it. But the 80s were full of a lot of things like that. And there's nothing wrong with you enjoying those 80s comedies, whatever. Especially as an adult, because Lord knows a lot of like Porky's and My Science Project and a lot of those other movies are still holding up against a lot of the stuff that's out right now. All the Marvel humor shit is garbage. Like, I can't sit through anything. I just saw the Fallout trailer this last weekend, and one little hint of Marvel humor in it just kind of ruins my whole interest in that whole thing. I don't necessarily want to spend my time watching stuff like this, mainly because it's all the same thing. The jokes are the same, the ideas are the same, the messaging is the same. It's all the same thing. There is no nuance. There's no difference in humor. There's no different styles of comedy. None of that stuff. It's just all the same stuff. And ultimately, that's boring. It's like what I said on Twitter, I think last Saturday. And it kind of became true because I got into an argument with somebody. How on earth do you have all these things wrong with you and you are still fucking boring? But a lot of these people are like that. They think that they're so unique in their sameness or whatever. This special snowflake thing always comes into play mainly because a lot of these people, they will sit there and spout the same talking points, the same ideas, the same like rhetoric, and then they'll try to treat it as if it is the first time hearing it. I was called every name in the book on Saturday. I'm like, these are all things that I heard back in the 90s. And because I grew up in the 90s and like went through all that stuff, I had my character arc and actually grew as a person. None of this stuff really hits. It's like watching that Batman the Animated Series episode where Batman and Kyodai like fight, and Batman just like pat slapping away all the freaking punches. It's like that. I don't have to worry about getting my feelings hurt by somebody throwing out a bunch of insults because my self-esteem is high enough to where I'm fine. And if a lot of people's self-esteem were a lot better than they were, they would realize that you can be comfortable in your own skin. You can like things that other people don't like. You can actually enjoy things and not have to worry about other people liking those things in order for you to feel good to actually sit down and enjoy those things. The FGC has the same problem, where the FGC has an issue where they feel like we have to have esports, and we have to take away all these things that makes fighting games unique to basically make it fit within the esports bubble to be sold to the average person so they can be on ESPN. I have to take away Rainbow Mika's like butt slap animation. We got to take away like costumes or whatever and basically tone down everything. You have to make everything look as bland and generic as possible, which is the problem that people are having with Arxis right now, because Elfit just dropped, and Elfit looks nothing like what you did in Rev 2. But global standards apply. Global standards are why you're seeing a lot of the problems that you're seeing with like Testament and Bridget. You're trying to appeal to people that really don't really have an interest in what it is you're doing beyond social engineering and political ideology. That's all it is. But for some reason, again, we have to validate our work through people who don't give a shit about our work. And if we get enough mainstream appeal, we can get a lot more money. Except your player base is looking rough. And a lot of your core fans are now like going off and doing other things. And they're reminiscing about the better games in the series. Like, there's a lot of people that are talking about Rev 2 and Zerd right now. And like Accent Core Plus. Because they don't really fuck with Strive anymore. That's one of the issues that we're seeing, because Daisuke wants that mainstream appeal. And again, these are the results of this. Like, this mentality leads to you actually losing your core fan base. And I'm not saying it's limited to just that, because if this has been going on for since the Wii. Remember with the Wii, where Nintendo had basically looked past their core fan base to go focus on the new audience that they thought would stick with them and actually support them. When the Wii came out, there's a lot of new users that came in and started playing Wii Sports and things like that, because the appeal of Wii Sports was amazing. Nintendo Wii was kind of just as much a lifestyle device as it was a console, and they focused on that, and it worked out until it didn't work out. A lot of the new user base, a lot of the which were a lot of you saw a lot of older people kind of. I played Wii Sports and played Wii Bowling, and now my Wii is just sitting on top of the TV. Or the entertainment center. It's not doing anything, because you only bought it for the Wii Sports. Like one of my old bosses, like she's in her 50s, or she was in her 50s at the time. She basically had that situation where she bought the Wii and she was just playing Wii Sports, and like after Wii Sports, there might have been a couple other games or whatever, but after that, after the novelty wore off, that's pretty much just gonna sit there and do nothing, and glow occasionally if you get emails. Like the people that were actually playing the Wii were people like you and myself, or people if you're a fan and you're watching, and you play video games like the level of I play video games. There were those people that were just playing games. I have an extensive Wii collection. Like The Last Story, Pandora Tower, like the Mario games, a lot of other things. A lot of the best games that came out for the Wii, I have. But that's because I'm a core audience member. I've been with Nintendo since the NES. So obviously it's going to cater to a lot of the things that I'm going to get when Nintendo wise are things that cater to my tastes. The newer audience, once the novelty of the Wii wore off, they just kind of went and did other things. They kind of migrated to Apple devices. and that's where it was. Like, it took Nintendo 2 whole console generations to win back the hardcore fan base, because it didn't work with the Wii U. The Wii U kind of won back a few people, but it didn't necessarily get that appeal that it needed. It wasn't until the Switch happened when people kind of jumped back on there, and they were actually back into the fold, buying up Switch products and Switch games. So this appealing to demographics that may have more mainstream appeal doesn't necessarily work out, and we've seen this happen like for decades. But one, it's not going to last, as you're starting to see with the Marvel stuff. And 2, anybody that says that they're a fan, especially online, and they're loudly saying that they're a fan, but they need you to change every aspect of who you are in order to appeal to them, is not really fans. Those are influencers. Those are like people that have a narcissistic need to see themselves in everything else, whatever. Those aren't necessarily the people you should be catering to. If you have an audience, or you have people that are interested in that thing, they're going to love it because of what you're bringing to the table originally. You're not going to have to change anything. You shouldn't have to change anything if something is interesting. Again, if you feel like validation of your hobbies is going to lead to a better product or a better experience, or a chance for you to have more friends that are interested in this thing, you're suffering from low self-esteem, and you probably should take a step back and think about that, because it's not going to improve anything. If anything, it's going to break your heart, and you're going to find yourself pushed out of your own hobby by people that weren't interested in the first place. So let's take a look for a minute to see what people were saying about this. Because it makes them feel normal and accepted. Their hobby becoming mainstream allows them to openly express their passions without fear of social exclusion and ridicule. Like another commenter said, humans are tribalistic and most people are outcasts, most people, outcasts included, desire being part of an in-group and being accepted by their peers. Look at what happened to comics. As soon as the superhero genre became popular with the masses, the comics themselves hit rock bottom. Yes, unfortunately, nerd culture isn't what it used to be. The scene has practically been taken over by normies, dude bros, and tumblerinas who were exactly the same people who used to bully nerds back in the day when our hobbies were seen as cringe and childish. Nerd culture isn't the only space that has been watered down and turned into a shallow trend. Emo and goth subcultures have also suffered from this, as social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok, have made goth and emo look trendy. Honestly, I would love to go back to the 2000s nerd culture, not necessarily niche, but not too mainstream. Perfect balance, and I wish it would have stayed that way. And that's not a bad way to look at it. 2000 was kind of a good time. It was right when I started hitting anime cons, and there's a lot of genuine people that were involved there. But yeah, I have this, well, I'm not even gonna say I have this feeling. I know it to be true. You can't go home again. We're going to have to rebuild and change culture. And if that means being exclusionary, you're going to have to be exclusionary. There's a lot of people that frown on the idea of gatekeeping, but gatekeeping is what creates great communities. I know that's going to get poo-pooed, but hey, it's the truth. The scene has been particularly taken over by normies, dude bros, and tumblerinas, who are the same people who used to bully nerds back in the day when our hobbies were seen as cringe and childish. I definitely understand that. I was always a fan of superheroes as a kid and got into comics. My dad raised me on horror movies on VHS and I became a massive zombie fan. Same. My parents were instrumental in me enjoying horror movies because they used to take me out to go see horror movies, like at the local AMC theater. Such good times. I was mocked in school for reading comics or zombie novels, but the second the MCU and The Walking Dead became popular, suddenly those people were going around claiming to be lifelong fans. Meanwhile, I was sitting there thinking, no, you fucking weren't. It's true. Yeah, I see this a lot, and it kind of burns me. I've seen people on Facebook pull the I'm such a nerd or whatever, and I'm just like, really, nigga? It's like, I miss the old days when nerds actually embraced the fact that normies didn't like it. I still blame WoW though. I feel like it really kicked off the it's okay to like nerdy shit normies message. Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory was probably the thing that kind of set that whole thing off too, because it made nerdiness trendy, or it made that whole idea of nerdiness trendy. I think the cringiest thing that I saw is I went to a wedding. A girl I was dating, her best friend was getting married. And they treated the groom's like hobbies, because he was big into D&D. They treated his hobbies like it was just such a oh, it's so cute, it's so nerdy, whatever. And they have pictures of the guys playing D&D, and then they had the Big Bang Theory theme song playing over top of it, and this shit was just so cringe. And since I don't know the people, I'm not gonna sit there and like side eye or whatever. I just sat through it. But that's how it is. It's like people would look at this stuff because of Big Bang Theory, and they would like, oh, it's just like that show. It's like when I used to draw comics in middle and high school. I would draw comics because I wanted to be a comic book artist in high school. And oh, you're just like David and Darlene from Roseanne. I was like, no, bitch. It's interesting that that's a plot point in the couple of seasons of Roseanne that they were doing comics. But the fact of the matter is, I grew up reading comic books. I've always wanted to make a comic. I've always wanted to make video games. These are all things that I want to do. Why is it that when you see me doing something and the first thing you think of is like you try to relate it to something you see on TV? I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to poo-poo you for that, but please, don't ever do that. Let's see, because they aren't the corn fans, there are people who are on the edges of this space who are perpetually dedicated and just want everything to cater to them. You do see a lot of that lately. And I'm not going to say that's not an issue, but it is something that needs to be pointed out. It's definitely interesting because they're childish. Critics who treat adult as a term of approval instead of merely a descriptive term cannot be adult themselves. They concern about being grown up to admire the grown up because it's grown up, to blush at the suspicion of being childish. These things are marks of childhood and adolescence, and in childhood and adolescence, they are, in moderation, healthy symptoms. Young things ought to want to grow, but to carry on into middle life and even into early manhood, this concern about being adult is a mark of really arrested development. When I was a teen, I read fairy tales in secret and would have been ashamed if I'd been found doing so. Now that I'm 50, I read them openly, and when I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and desire to be very grown up. Now, that goes back to a video that I did a while back, and it kind of reminds me of... there was a point where my dad was kind of not too into me liking video games, but this is when I was 14, 15, and I would play like NES games or whatever. And he wanted me to go do more adult things, but I'm like, what grown up things would you like me to do? Would you like me to basically get somebody knocked up and be a teen parent? Because obviously that's what was going on at the time. There's a lot of kids my age that were just knocking each other up like it was going out of style. I'm trying to keep my nose clean because I want to go to college and go do great things. Playing video games is not stopping me from doing that. But that was a thing. It's funny, like as adults now, my dad will sit there and watch us play Battletoads when I go visit and stuff like that. And see, that's the interesting thing. My dad plays Super Mario Brothers with me, and we played Galaga together. It was one of my favorite memories. But I think he feels like, again, there's a stigma surrounding playing nerdy things or doing nerdy things or playing video games and stuff like that. There was a stigma surrounding that, and he felt that seeing somebody do that is wasted potential. Which is fine. I understand where he's coming from. And as an adult, I understand that more than ever now. Because time management is a huge thing. Or maybe I'm just too old and can't relate to them. I watch VTubers with my kids. My wife has framed artwork of an anime character in the living room. I cannot comprehend the mindset of I wish I could watch it with my parents' peers of society. For what it's worth, anime is extremely mainstream here in SEA. Like, everyone grew up watching anime. There's anime ads in the metro, and if you don't have any awareness of popular anime like Pokemon, Naruto, JoJo, it's all considered pretty weird. Well, that's true. That's true. Especially in Asia or whatever. It's so ingrained in the culture that it's normal. It's only here that's a problem. So, I don't know. Me personally, the whole reason for me getting my own place and doing my own thing and getting a job to support my hobbies or whatever, it's so I can actually be free to be me. I have this house where I can actually put up these things that I like, and if you come to my house and judge me, you can get the fuck out. Like, that's pretty much it. Again, but self-esteem. So you have to really put these things in perspective. I think those are just normies trying to get in with trends, not real fans. As a huge anime fan, I don't. And this is going to be the last one. We're gonna finish after this. More normies coming in and complaining about the great series like Made in Abyss, Chainsaw Man sucks. There's a panel in Chainsaw Man where a teacher touches Denji's penis, and people got so up in arms about this sexual assault that it's astounding that they made it that far into a manga like Chainsaw Man. The author's previous work, Fire Punch, has rape as the punchline to a joke. Gatekeep these weak stomach bitches. The thing with Japan is Japan has a different way of handling certain things. Mature subjects are not really taboo over there as they are over here in the States. As much as people want to whine about like these horrible things that are happening in manga, the fact of the matter is, like, there's a lot of like mature subjects even in kids anime and stuff like that. Digimon had some really tough subjects going on in there, but that was the thing. Like, you're talking about a whole culture of people where you have kids going into bathhouses and basically bathing in the same space as adults. So the taboo of nudity is not really there. The taboo of like mature subjects, not really there. And these kids grow up and they're actually pretty well developed mentally. You look at Japan and they actually have a low crime rate, but they also have severe punishments for breaking the law. So, and it's a high trust society. Again, like, these are all things we look at stuff over there and we're like, oh, this is terrible, it's horrible, I swear this is the most disgusting thing possible. But then you look at their culture versus our culture, and there's a lot of like grown-ass people that can't even get their shit together. It really makes you think. It really activates those almonds, huh? Anyways, I'm out of here. Thank you for joining for this. I'll see you next boss fight. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.